taking the lead. The Yankees have signed former Mets infielder Neil Walker to a one-year deal with a salary of $4 million plus incentives. The assumption is that he'll be the Yankees starting second baseman, although Brian Cashman just said recently that might not be the case, might not be a sure thing. But both Torres and Andujar most likely will start the season in AAA now, while it's still possible Tyler Wade breaks camp as the utility guy. You like the fit, Todd?
I do. I actually like this fit, and we sort of seem like prognosticators, if you will, because all offseason we've been saying that we don't think the Yankees are going to break camp with a rookie at third and second base. We thought that Cashman would wait, which he's done. He's been very patient, and Walker became available and has been available, and I think it's a good fit for them because, A, he's an insurance policy. I think besides second and third base, he can play some first base, and you never know with Bird and his health and left-handed, right-handed. So I think it gives him versatility for a really good price tag and a potential trade guy later on in the season.
I don't see any negative to this at all. First of all, he's a switch hitter, which is going to be great for that lineup. And he's also a veteran presence. If you look at what they have in that infield right now, you have a whole bunch of very talented young guys, with Didi Gregorius basically being the veteran presence. Neil Walker's a fantastic clubhouse guy. People really respect him. He's got a great personality. He's beloved everywhere he goes. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, it does nothing for me. I mean, it's a fine deal. You're going to get him for dirt cheap, right? He comes back basically begging for a contract. Yankees are like, sure, why not? I mean, the Yankees are loading a B team that's better than some regular teams around Major League Baseball. But ultimately, their success, to me, at that position will be based on Torres. You know, third base is going to be based on Andujar. I don't want to see Neil Walker in the lineup.
You really got that pronunciation.
Yeah, I don't want to see Neil Walker in the lineup every day if I'm a Yankee fan. If he stays healthy, you mentioned he's a good clubhouse guy. He could produce. He's a solid, major leaguer. But I feel like the Yankees could do better. He's more insurance. There's not a difference-making move where it's, oh, hey, the Yankees finally went out and addressed an area of need, at least not from where I'm sitting.
Well, this is why Bubba Crosby's name has come up on this show, because we keep saying Brian Cashman doesn't break camp, as you said, Todd, with young guys starting at positions, especially with a team that he thinks could go to the World Series, and he obviously did it again.
And I find it really interesting because it was a couple of weeks ago Cashman said the best guys are going to break camp. Well, Andujar has had a great spring, 4 homers and 9 RBIs. Torres, on the other hand, hitting 130, only 23 at-bats. He's a guy that we were saying, hey, he's going to break camp with these guys. I thought from business reasons he was not going to break camp, and now I think for performance reasons and because they've got a veteran to make sure that he can go take his time. And as you say, he's going to be a difference maker at some point, but I don't think it's right now.
But where's this idea that Neil Walker isn't an exciting player? I think he's a pretty good player. Not everyone's going to be a superstar. This is a guy who hit, what, 264 last year? He had 14, 15 home runs, a little bit of pop in his bat. He can drive in runs. Why not? I don't understand why he's not titillating you the way.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you why. Maybe it's a Mets fan bias here. Neil Walker thought he was a better player than he was with the Mets, and that bothered me. He's a decent major league player who was hurt with the Mets. I think he was more disappointing than anything else. His first month here, remember, he was on fire. Now, nobody expected him to be, lighting up the world with the power that he was when he first came here. But really, since then, he became a problem because he couldn't be relied upon because he couldn't stay healthy. And in his mind, he was always looking for more money, bigger deal. That was always the catch, right? And now, look at where he is. He finds himself begging for a contract in a down market, 1 year, $4 million. He's an okay player. I don't think he makes the Yankees that much better.
Well, I want to take a look at the two sides of this, Todd, because you have veteran players now, well, veterans, but Brandon Drury and Neil Walker, who are going to presumably start at third base and second. You have young players, Andujar and Torres, who were starters at the beginning of spring training and now aren't. The psychology there with the two veterans, knowing that if they have guys hitting 370 at AAA, they might lose their jobs, and the guys who lost their jobs in Torres and Andujar, who now can regain them maybe mid-season. Are there any negatives to doing what Brian Cashman has done here?
I don't think there's any negatives to it because I think at the end of the day, we're talking about, we're kind of making an assumption right now that Walker breaks camp as the opening day starting second baseman for the Yankees. That may not be completely what he's thinking. Maybe it is. I would say it probably likely is, but he's also using it as insurance for Drury at third. He's using it for insurance with Bird. And I think, to your point, Sal, I think it's interesting that last year he took a qualifying offer from the Mets to sign. Maybe he, that was a smart move for him instead of being stuck like a lot of guys that are in free agency this year, made the most out of it, but a $17 million contract when you're hurt seems like a bad deal. A $4 million contract when he might be feeling healthy right now seems like a good deal for the team to me.
Yeah, and the Scranton Rail Riders are going to be fantastic this year.
They are going to be loaded. But, Sal, I think it's interesting the way you view Neil Walker because the Yankees might view him the same way.
Right.
That's the point of this signing. It's not like they scouted him all offseason and thought, we got to pay this guy a fortune. This guy's a priority. He fell into their laps. That's what we've been talking about all offseason.
Well, and that's kind of my point. Now, if you look around, you could look to the Mets and say, well, are they going to be any better at second base than the Yankees would be with Walker, right? The Mets have Cabrera, who also has question marks. He's getting paid more money than Neil Walker is. So I can see where you're getting the value for a solid major league player. But if Neil Walker was this sought-after player, other teams would have made an offer to him. And I know it's a bad market, but still, 1 year, $4 million. I mean, that is essentially nothing for a guy who values himself as being a good second base. A couple of years ago, I mean, come on, think about this. The Mets brought him in here to replace Daniel Murphy, and Neil Walker wanted the big-time contract. So it is a far cry from that. I guess I was just always rubbed wrong with Walker's. I don't want to say he had a bad attitude, but I just felt like he thinks he's better than what he was, at least for the Mets.
And he's still in this town.
Well, he fits right in for Yankees for you then, as a Mets man. All right.
Hey, the B team, good for him. He's going to be great in AAA.